And welcome to the Business Thinking Podcast. I'm Alex and
I'm Joe.
yeah, cool. So a perennial problem and something we've been discussing recently in the office, and I think something that's close to at least every developer's heart and every manager, every product manager, sort of everyone apart from the stakeholders maybe.
Yeah.
Is how do we get stakeholders to care? And by that we mean they see the end result, for better or for worse, and obviously they're non-technical and they don't necessarily understand how much work has gone into getting that output to them, whether that be a dashboard, a report, a mart, even a spreadsheet if that's what they want. And it's the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah. You can't report blood, sweat and tears on a dashboard.
No. Well, we would if we could.
What if we could? Yeah.
Yeah, a little column that says
that's like
blood levels.
How many tears did the data engineer cry?
How many litres of tears?
How many litres of tears?
0.01 litres. It's actually quite a lot.
100 millilitres of tears is quite a lot.
It's actually quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant. And I guess the follow-up question to that is, why should they care?
Well,
because they really only should care about the output and what they get. But
you're right. It's how do you make them care? It's all like, because as we've said, you said at the end of the day, they only really care about the output and it looking pretty, it displaying what data they think it needs to display. Because all stakeholders as well, have a slightly different view on what they think
exactly
should be.
They might be in a different department. They might only care about a value with a particular filter on it, or a different perspective on the same data.
And sometimes they have a very specific idea of what numbers they're expecting to see, and if they don't see those numbers, it's like, that's wrong. Or did they not quite ask for the right thing?
Right. There's the classic problem of stakeholders don't always know what they want. They struggle to articulate what they want. It's our jobs to elicit that from them 100%, but it's a challenge. It's not as easy as, hey, what do you want? I want this. Great, we'll go do that.
Yeah, it's like saying, I want a sausage roll. Where do you want it from?
Yeah, do you want it cooked? Do you want condiments on it?
Yeah.
What type of sausage do you want?
Little bits of onion in it?
Yeah. What bread do you want? Subway.
Oh.
You could turn up to a Subway counter the same way you can turn up to a stakeholder and they go, you're behind the counter and your stakeholder's on the other side. And then you go, okay, what kind of bread do you like?
Yeah.
What topping?
Party Italian, please.
Yeah, exactly. What toppings do you want?
Okay, so no toppings. You used to I want the meatballs ones.
Yeah, meatball marinara.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we're advertising for Subway now.
Don't. But it's a great example.
We are in no way associated for legal reasons.
But still, the idea is you're going up to the sandwich counter, you're going in there and you say exactly what you want, because you can display everything and you can say, admittedly though, the thing is, once you have built your Subway sandwich, you can't exactly ask them to take it out. You can take it out yourself, but you can't then ask them to take it out unless you then buy a new sandwich. But the benefit of this though, in this case, you're not buying a completely built sandwich. It's if you don't like the tomatoes, if you remember suddenly, I don't like tomatoes. God, why do I keep doing this to myself?
Yeah.
You can take that bit of the dashboard out. You can take that bit of the sandwich out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, the analogy it's not a perfect analogy, admitted, but
it's still the idea that you could then display all the options, because you're then given all the information about kind of what someone wants. So you're saying, oh, you want this, but have you thought about the time grain for this? Have you thought about, whether you say your total costs or something, does that include this? Or does your revenue include, how do you calculate your revenue? What do you calculate it against? Is it like, is there certain things that you don't care about? Because, your total revenue would actually, if you think about it, would include this, but not for your metric.
Yeah. Or, this is a graph about timesheets, but, we had an error on that day, so can you exclude that from my feed? Or, little...
Yes, there are little things that you just need to hard code in there to make it very particular for one person, when you could just add a filter.
Yeah, and when we say hard code, we mean you have to do it on a case-by-case basis. We template it where possible, but...
Yeah, exactly.
This is where you get the sprawl of, this is how, we turn up to clients all the time and say, 10,000 line long SQL, well, not all the time, That's luckily very rare, but you see
Have seen it.
But yeah, we have seen it. We see a very long SQL file with loads of logic built into it. I think everyone at some point in their career has seen this, and that's how it gets like that. Is because of all the random requests coming in,
and someone has built this, and that's just become the norm.
Yeah, and you also get the following on from that. You get it works, and the stakeholders happen. We don't know why it works. We don't know why it is this way, but leave it as is.
And at that point, then, to keep stakeholders happy, are you replicating a truth? Not the truth.
Yeah, I mean, we've also had the case where we've found an issue with how something is calculated.
Yeah,
and we've had it. They've asked us not to change it because that's just how it's always been calculated.
And you don't want that number creeping up to stakeholders. It's like, well, actually, we've lost 20% of our profits.
Yeah, yeah. So there are situations where the customer isn't always right, but also you can't necessarily persuade them.
They're not wrong, but so it's more that they're not wrong, but you're also not right either.
Exactly,
because we don't understand the situation.
No, precisely. We don't have the full context.
No.
And when I use the analogy, the customer is always right. It's very different in a data context.
Yes.
Right. Because as with maths, data is data. Unless you've fudged it somehow, that is what happened.
Data is data. Information is different to data.
Or exactly, precisely. Yes. In that data is static and doesn't tell you anything until you turn it into information, i.e., useful data.
It's the old phrase that you can get stats to say whatever you want it to say.
Right. Exactly. Causation, correlation, all that jazz. Yeah.
Yeah. You can say, I want to show that we've got profits. Cool, I'll limit it to this short time period. You can swing them however way you want.
Yeah.
You can look at the Gaussian curve. You can shift the Gaussian curve based on what data you put in. It doesn't matter because you can tell any story you want with the data. That's what I mean. It's the information that matters. And if someone wants a certain narrative pushed forward, lo and behold, that narrative will be pushed forward because it's for the benefit of everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you touched on a point there, is story.
Yes.
Storytelling with data is essentially our jobs.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
It just so happens, if we go to the analogy of a book, there is a lot of appendices of pipelines and landing zones and integration and business rules and all those things, which are at the back of the book. And the stakeholder isn't going to read. They're going to read the bit at the front of the book.
They're going to search the book for this short. It's like, it's almost like a Google search in a way, or an AI or whatever you want. You're searching for a very particular thing in the book because you only care about one thing. You think this book will have the answer for you. You only care about one tiny bit of context, and you'll find it in maybe like one or two places in the book, and you'll go in and it says, this thing means this, and has a little bit of extra blurb all around it saying what it is. But, and that's it. They don't look at the rest of the book. They don't care about the context around it.
Yeah.
That's the bit they want to know. Job done.
So is our conclusion then that we can't make the stakeholders care about all that stuff?
To a degree, I don't think it's possible, because otherwise...
We shouldn't. Yeah.
If you want to make them care, they need to understand better what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make them understand what you're doing, see the value in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not saying that they just care about the dashboard at the end of the thing, but it's more about what they really care about is the information they are given to make a decision.
Absolutely. It's all about decision making.
Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of a fundamental point we hadn't mentioned until this point.
That's the whole point of this, is to make a decision.
Yeah.
How they got to that point, yes, they might really come back in QA and question numbers, saying, but that's what I said before when we said they're looking for very particular numbers.
Yep.
They've got an example of what they've said before. That's what they're QAing against. They're expecting that because they've made decisions against that before.
Yeah.
All we're thinking about is they're given this dashboard of information. But before that, they'll only say, oh, like you said, this month seems a bit weird. This bit of data, I'm expecting to see these numbers. Why is there no values for this column for this bit?
Yep.
They want that in there to make decisions. They don't care about realistically about how it got there.
So I'm going to mention something here, and I think it's the exception, right? It's not just about decision making. It's being able to trust the data they're making decisions on.
That's I suppose that's where you say that's the benefit of understanding the technical side, because you can say with certainty, everything's tested. All the rules you've asked for is tested. It's against this specification.
We built something robust
that you gave us, so that we can show you this if you want to.
And it's there if you need it. And if you question that value, we have this whole audit trail. We have all this lineage to say that's how we got the value, and identify the issue if there is one.
Exactly. The value in showing what you're doing. It's almost, it might come across as thankless work, but for you, when you are doing it, it'll come back and, then you can say, this value is wrong, but it's like this because of this. And you've got this whole, like you said, the whole audit trail to go back, and then you could immediately narrow down to, I think we're doing this filter here. Is this filter quite right? And then they can say, oh no, it's meant to be a more, equals to or greater than, rather than just equal to.
Exactly.
Something really simple like that. And it turns out you're just filtering out a tiny bit of data, and that's it. And then it's fixed, the whole thing. The benefit is for you to fix the problems, not for them to see the solution you've given.
Yeah, it is.
Just to see the working to the solution.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, when you're done maths problems or anything when you're younger, and it's like, show your workings. Rather than just skipping a step, the person can then go back and see all the logic, should they wish to.
Yeah, and it's also, I guess, another analogy, if we're doing analogies, is this building we're in. We know nothing. I'm not a builder. I'm not a construction worker. I don't know how it was built. I have a vague understanding of some elements of it for DIY purposes, but I don't understand how it was built. But if I wanted to, I could probably go look at the blueprints. I could probably dig through and understand how it was built. I could look at the building codes of the time and assess whether they're up to scratch for my benefit. I could do all of that.
Yeah, they're not up to scratch now, but they were up to scratch according to those standards set earlier, which was documented somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're in a skyscraper, you want to be sure that it's not going to you come from a physics background. They do all kinds of stuff with earthquake prevention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that all of this was, because you've got to make sure that you can't be too rigid, otherwise it will fall over. You need counterweight sort of system to make sure that it acts against, if say an earthquake were to happen, it can sort of conform with the waves that's happening, conform against if it deforms in a safe way.
Yep.
It's a bit like also, kind of like controlled explosions in the same vein. You've got like things that happen, you've got to put things in very particular points. It's not just throw everything at the building and make it fall down. It's got to be safe.
Oh, you mean like for demolition?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You want the building to go, but you still want to, you can't have too much fun.
Yes, exactly. You can't just put, an absolute ton of TNT to it. Just like, well, building's gone.
Building's gone.
So has every other building nearby.
Yeah. We may have...
We're digressing.
Yeah, we are digressing, but I think hopefully the viewers get the point.
Yeah, you need to understand the purpose of why you're doing something.
Yep.
And the business or the stakeholder don't need to fully understand it, but it's there for documentation purpose, so that someone in the future could look at it and then just understand why you're doing it this way.
Even your future self.
Yeah.
If you come back to a project a few months later for whatever reason, I was on maternity leave recently. Sorry, not maternity, paternity. And
there's something we've missed a lot if you're on maternity leave.
and there were some things that I came back to, and I was thankful I documented it, because it reminded me why I'd done something a certain way. That's another topic. Documentation, very important. But it's not just for other people. It can also be for your future self.
Yeah.
I say that to our developers in the company all the time. It's not, pretend it's for your future self. It's a very good starting point for documentation.
Yeah. If you need this, someone else is going to need it.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely.
I think just to hammer home the point, I think to make a stakeholder happy and make them care about your work, I don't think you can without giving them a reason to look back.
Without teaching them to be a data engineer, at which point you might as well hire them into your team and they're no longer a stakeholder. Oh, there you go. That eliminates the issue.
Yes.
No, in all seriousness, though, I think we've concluded it's not our jobs to make the stakeholder care about the work we do. It's our jobs to make them trust the output of the data by building it in a robust way.
Yes.
I think in one sentence, it needs to speak for itself.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that summarizes it very nicely. Cut the rest of the podcast. It speaks for itself.
Yeah. Which is, welcome to the podcast. Why do you need to make a stakeholder care? It speaks for itself. Thank you. Bye.
Exactly.
That should have been it. We should have just done
That's what we should have done. We really should have. No. This is for YouTube Shorts.
Perfect. Our editor Reese will be very happy.
Just cut everything. He can spice us together to make us say whatever we want. He is literally, he's always.
He has the power.
He's playing God.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. This might get edited out.
Might not.
We'll find out, won't we? Might not. It's exciting almost.
Yeah, I know. There's a degree of uncertainty. Unlike stakeholders, they like to know what's there.
That's a good soundbite. Oh,
this will be fun. Should we call it there?
Yeah, we'll call it there.
All right, cool.
Let's get serious faces on again. And
right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I hope you got something out of that, and we will see you next time.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Hi. We're back.
We thought about this after we stopped rolling. I always wanted to say that.
After we stopped rolling. No, but we started to think about it, and we were going back to our sandwich, our terrible Subway analogy.
Yeah.
And we had a bit more of a thought about it, thinking you've got the stakeholder only really cares about the sandwich at the end, right?
Yeah, they care about the finished article, and that's fine. Like we concluded, they don't have to care about how it got made.
Yeah, exactly. You're the person who cares about how fresh the tomatoes are, how fresh the gherkins are, how many gherkins you put in the sandwich, because you remember it's squared off. They're looking into you putting things into the sandwich.
Yes.
You're putting it into the oven for X amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
That's all within your control. It doesn't matter to them. They only care about what ends up in the final product, because they can then tell you, actually, I hate this stuff. Please take it out. And then you rebake it and you make them a new sandwich, because that's what matters to them.
Exactly. They care about how all the ingredients taste together, not the individual components and the exact steps of how it was made. They want to know, for example, that in the Subway analogy, it was made in clean environments, that the hygiene rating is good, and that utensils have been cleaned, and if they're vegan, that the meat was kept separate from everything else, and the ingredients are fresh,
gluten-free as well.
Gluten-free. They care about all of that, but that's the high level stuff. They don't care how or why it was gluten-free.
They don't care where your gherkins particularly came from. They don't care particularly where the tomatoes came from, as long as it looks like a tomato.
And to extend the analogy, some people do, in which case a lot of places like Subway will publish where they sourced their vegetables from, at least in the UK and other parts of Europe. I'm not sure about the US, but making sure it's free trade, all this kind of stuff. You can go and look that up, and some companies will have those logos on the front door and to show where things are sourced from, and you can go find it. But the average customer doesn't really care about that in the same way that the average stakeholder doesn't necessarily care about all those things. But if you document those things,
you're showing
for them to find.
Yeah, you're showing, as you build the sandwich, you're showing the step to the stakeholder as you put things in. You're asking them, do you want this? And they say yes. Do you want ranch sauce? Yes. Do you want this? What filling do you want? Yes. And they can see you, because there's a little window. They can see you doing every little bit of step.
Yeah.
So it's all documented.
Yeah. And hopefully that helps with the analogy a bit more.
If it does help, great. If it doesn't help, sorry.
We tried.
We tried very hard. Well, very hard. We tried a bit more.
At least 10% more trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had we just, it's when you step away from anything and you have a moment of clarity.
Yeah. And no, we don't have any data to back up the 10% improvement.
No, we don't.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a good conclusion.
You forget.
I think that was really good.